is logging in and getting settled. I am super excited to welcome you today. We've got a very awesome group of home care agency owners and operators who are going to be sharing some of their knowledge and insights with you all about how they've been tackling recruiting and retention, what they've learned, how things are going this year, or how they compare to previous years. We're going to cover a whole lot of stuff, and I'm very excited to share that all with you. So I'm going to give everybody just one more minute here because I see people still filing in. So. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and kick things off here with just some quick Zoom instructions. I know we've been doing this now for a while, but just in case, there is the Q&A button on your Zoom bar there. And I very much encourage you to chat in questions, and we'll take the ones that we can throughout either that, or if we need to save them to the end, we can do that too. But definitely would love to hear your questions and your comments along the way for sure. So use that Q&A. And then also, just so everybody knows, so everybody always asks, we are going to record this, and so you will be able to see that recording after, or share it with your colleagues, all that good stuff. All right, I just when reading that, I had to double check and make sure we were recording it. So I was telling you the truth. We are. Okay, so very excited to have this stellar group of people here. I'm going to give each of them a short overview. Like, I want to share their bio with you because they've done some pretty incredible things with their career, and they've built amazing home care businesses. And so I'll start with Mark. He is the president of Hired Hands Home Care. They're a leading provider of senior care services in San Francisco North Bay. They've had a very impressive 30-year history. The company has supported literally thousands of families, partnering closely with really diverse and dedicated teams of professional caregivers. Mark's leadership is multifaceted, and on any given day, he is expertly navigating operations and management, and marketing, finance, IT, HR, recruitment, literally tackling all the very unpredictable challenges of the dynamic senior care industry. He's got a really hands-on approach at Hired Hands Home Care, and continues to set the standard for excellence in care.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, for sure. And Geneva is the co-owner and director of Visiting Angels in San Luis Obispo and Santa Clarita. She has a deep-rooted passion for senior care. She actually began her journey in nursing and went on to earn a master's degree in healthcare administration with a focus on gerontology. After gaining a lot of valuable experience in skilled nursing facilities, she discovered her true calling in home care. And so in 2005, she started with her business partner and launched their first Visiting Angels office in Southern California. And then a couple 4 years later, expanded to a second location. Under her leadership, the organization now provides around 3,000 hours of care each week, and undoubtedly makes a significant impact in the lives of seniors in their community. So super.
Thanks.
I know you do. And next up, Kasondra is the Chief Information Officer and a board member at The Perfect Companion. They're a premier home care agency serving high-profile clients in Arizona, Tennessee, and Ohio. She has a career spanning over 2 decades. Kasondra has been a very impressive founder, entrepreneur, investor, philanthropist, volunteer, really consistently demonstrating her expertise in strategic leadership and organizational development. Since joining the Perfect Companion, she's played a pivotal role in advancing the company's mission to provide exceptional and personalized concierge care, ensuring that their clients are receiving the highest standard of care, but tailored to their unique needs. So,
thank you, Jen, for having me.
yeah, thanks for being here.
Pleasure.
And the last but certainly not least, Jodi Goldberg is the owner and operator of the Home Instead franchise in Sewell, New Jersey, serving Gloucester County, which she started in 2006. She has a master's degree in social work from Temple University, and Jodi is deeply committed to making a positive impact in the lives of seniors in her community. Under her leadership, Home Instead in Gloucester County has become one of the most trusted providers of personalized in-home senior care, and they are known for their compassionate, and person-centered approach to care. Jodi has absolutely unwavering dedication to maintaining seniors' independence, dignity, and safety, and it's really earned her the trust of families and seniors in her community. So super excited to have you here, Jodi.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. It's great being here.
Yeah. Okay, so just a minute on Augusta. If this is your first time joining a webinar hosted by Augusta, I'm so excited to have you here. Augusta is home care recruiting software that we built solely for home care agencies to help you identify the right applicants and motivate them to complete more interviews with you. Our main goals here is we want to connect you with the right applicants. There are a lot of applicants out there for this industry. There is a lot of people who want to join this industry, but they're not all necessarily right for your agency. So we specialize in helping you understand who are the right people for your business and making you able to connect with them really fast. Part of what we're doing is also helping you make more client matches and boosting your billable hours. And the way we're doing that is by gathering the right information from your applicants, so that way you can have those conversations earlier in your hiring process about who could be a good fit for your business and also for specific clients. Because somebody who's right for the business today may be very different from somebody who's right for your clients tomorrow. Scheduling changes at the drop of a hat, right? So you're always needing to slot in those people, and we help you do that at the top of the funnel from the point of application. And last but certainly not least, our platform is designed to give you actionable information on what's happening in your recruitment process, so that way you can figure out your bottlenecks and do something about it. So yeah, that's about Augusta, and I'm one of the co-founders of the company, and I started in this industry as a caregiver in 2009, and have basically worked in senior care ever since then, and is what I'm super passionate about. So very excited about this. Okay, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into our questions for our panelists here. So first up, what were the top recruiting challenges that came up so far this year, and how does it compare to previous years? Geneva, you want to start us out?
Well, definitely recruiting skilled, experienced caregivers is the challenge. It's the #1 challenge, and it has been for a while, but it keeps getting tighter and tighter. We have an increasing number of competitors, and that includes home care, home health, in-home hospice, and a bunch of facilities. And we are all looking for the gold standard of an experienced, available caregiver, and it's tight. We're all fishing that same pond, and so that's the challenge.
Yeah, yeah, the competition both from within the home care industry, other types of senior care organizations like home health and assisted living and hospice. And then actually before this, we were also talking about independent caregivers as well. Is that something that's been a challenge for you too, Geneva?
Yeah, for sure. We find that a little more when we talk about retention. We can attract the independent caregivers. They just are so used to, setting their own schedule and making a different amount of hourly wage. And so we find that retention is generally a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Mark, how about you? Top recruiting challenges.
Wow. Well, I as we were discussing earlier, I think that we all are in the same boat, so to speak. There's no question we're on the early stages of that the senior tsunami, as they say, and statistically, I don't think that there's a state in the country that is comfortable saying, oh, we're just fine. We'll have enough healthcare professionals to take care of our aging population. So, yeah, this without question, this is the number one issue I would say facing, non-medical home care agencies. Sure, there are a lot of people, a lot of other industries fighting for our people. So it's a bit of a rubber band, kind of push and pull. We're trying to attract people from different industries as well as all fighting, over the same really experienced caregivers. It is quite a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Jodi, how about you?
Yeah, so I mean, everything they said, but we're in a unique state. New Jersey has very specific requirements in order to provide personal care to our clients. They all need a certification, and that certification is very specific, needing 76 hours of clinical support. And that license is actually distributed by the Board of Nursing. So not only do we have those recruiting issues, we do have those specific issues that we need that specific certification. So that's tough. And there's a shortage of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's probably a few people in the room who are familiar with a state like either New Jersey or Washington, where it's a really, really big lift for a caregiver to become certified. I mean, in comparison to a lot of other states, it's New Jersey is very challenging. And then it sounds like what you're saying is you've got that added certification on top of all the other things that Geneva and Mark just talked about, competing with other industries and competing within the existing pool of caregivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And the competition, as everybody is saying, also for them working privately with, going directly with families. So it's yeah, it definitely has been a challenging time for recruitment in New Jersey.
Yeah. Kasondra.
I would say that, we are struggling with similar challenges in our Arizona location. We're a destination because of our lovely weather, and the market is dense and it's incredibly saturated here. We just launched our Blue Zone project, so it's even become more attractive. The other challenge, like everyone else, is the independent contractors. Independents out there working with those clients, and they're not necessarily, the client themselves are not thinking about insurance or their safety, or what if that caregiver can't make it to their shift and that loved one doesn't have care. They're getting burnt out because they don't have agency there to back them up and provide that additional support. So I agree. We really do struggle with a lot of the similar challenges.
Yeah. How does all this compare to previous years? Have you seen, I guess, post-COVID, pre-COVID? I feel like that's a lot of people talk about the differences before and after the pandemic. It's a pretty big marker in all of our lives, right, of how things have changed. So I guess, yeah, any thoughts about how it's been different?
I mean, I think it's always been a challenge. It's just, I think post-COVID has really changed the landscape of recruiting, especially qualified care professionals. So Like I said, it's always been a challenge, but this year, I think especially, we're really struggling.
I think
I-
as, oh, go ahead, Kasondra.
I think after COVID, families want safety. They're more educated now and more knowledgeable about caregiving, and they're looking for agency, and they're looking for that safety, and it's really important now.
I was going to say, I think post-COVID, you know, as we all tried to work through COVID, a lot of us adopted and took on all kinds of different types of technology. And I think that has probably had a number of different effects on our applicants and potential caregivers. And so, you know, pre-COVID, I think, you know, the job seeker kind of had a different approach, and I think it's possible now, now that we're, you know, post-COVID and everybody knows what Zoom is, and everybody is spending a lot more time on the computer or their phone. They have a lot more work opportunities, right? So it's not like in times past where they might reach out to you proactively or you'd recruit them proactively. And there was more of a one-on-one, you know, and sure, somebody would be looking around the competition, but there wasn't so many options. And I think now in this day and age, a potential caregiver or somebody who's out there on Indeed, they are just getting barraged with tons of different offers every single day. And so I think that definitely has made it more difficult to stand out as the agency and to really connect with that caregiver so that they think that they're confident that you're the company they want to work for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point. It's maybe, I mean, going very broad here, very macro, the fact that we have as a humanity, we have so much more information coming at us today than we ever have before. And that also is applying to applicants who are applying to your jobs, where they literally
Absolutely.
are getting bombarded. And so it's almost like they're seeing so many more opportunities. It's kind of contributing to this sense of increased competition. At the same time, from that they have more opportunities, and that they're being shown all of this. Yeah.
Well, they're
I think-
also, you know, they're applying to on Indeed or wherever it may be, whatever platform, they're applying to 30, 40 different places. And then when you call them, they're like, wait, who is this? So
Yeah.
they're getting confused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, let me move on to our next questions here. So, any recruiting related initiatives that have been successful so far this year? And I guess relatedly, I'm curious about how you measure that it's successful. And this is a lot of questions, but also, why do you think it was successful? Whatever you tried.
Well, I think, you know, since partnering with Augusta, Jen, I mean, we definitely have had more qualified candidates come through than ever before. So that has been amazing for the recruiting side for us. And because of that, you know, we can really set, you know, criteria. So as I was speaking about, you know, hiring somebody specifically for a certified home health aide, we can create those questions on the Augusta app, and that way they can come through and we can kind of push them through, you know, whether they're certified, we can push them through if they're more qualified in that respect. So that's, yeah. And then we can measure that. There's great reports there's monthly data that we can see on how many qualified candidates that are applying, and even on how many people are scheduling interviews. So that's been great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
I would, yeah, I would agree. Yeah, our job board posting, our Vice President of Administration, Ms. Brenda Hutchins, has crafted masterfully our lengthiest job posting I've ever seen, and partnered with Augusta Care. Our talent that's coming through, they read the post. They're looking forward to coming to work for our company, and they're qualified. And having a system for our team that really puts a good process in place has been incredibly valuable for us. It's been really helpful for us to distill the right candidates and not waste so much time interviewing to get to the right ones. So it's really been wonderful for us, and our team is very happy with Augusta Care. It improves their ability to do their job well.
That's awesome. And as much as I love the love of Augusta, I am also open to any other solutions that were successful too. So feel free to mention anything else. Yeah, love that on Augusta. Geneva and Mark, did you have any other thoughts?
Yeah,
about
Jen, I will echo what people are saying. I doubt that there is an Augusta client of yours that isn't really impressed with what you guys are doing in this day and age. And so I'll agree with what Kasondra was saying. It is really, really great to be able to connect directly with those applicants that are specific to what we're looking for. I think where you're really also hitting the home run is that we're able to interact with those applicants in a super timely fashion, their preferred methods, right? And so, in this day and age, I was out to dinner this past weekend, right? And you go to a restaurant and they just want your cell phone number so that they can text you when the table's ready. And it's just convenient and it works, right? And so for our applicants, that's what we're finding, being able to connect with them on a really quick basis. That time is of the essence, and that can't be underestimated. I don't think we're seeing it in the results for sure.
That's awesome.
Well, I love Augusta too, but here I kind of went on a mission to seek out caregivers who didn't know yet that they wanted to be a caregiver. They didn't know yet that they are a caregiver. So we've been kind of staying away from job boards, except when we need a high volume of applicants. So what we've found very successful is reaching out via radio ads. That went for a whole new audience that we weren't reaching before. We do run TV ads in our local market, and I had my SEO company do an internet marketing campaign looking for caregivers, and then the best caregivers come from employee referrals. So we've really been focusing on that and running some campaigns just in-house to try and reach more friends of our wonderful caregivers.
Awesome. Well, anything else? Anybody on this topic?
I have a funny story, Geneva, for that one. I think we're always out recruiting. When we're at dinner, we're shopping, we're always looking for those fabulous people. And there was a gentleman who had a pop-up for another company, and he was just a random salesperson. And I called into the office and I said, I want to know every single time that this particular person sends us a referral. And they just jumped right on and gave me a unique URL. And every time that person sends us I can go right back to that one individual and tell them thank you. So we're doing the same thing, getting individuals, referring our caregivers, and we get to identify that person, even if you're not tied to them walking in the door.
Right, through the little QR code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we printed these up for our caregivers, but we didn't make them have individual QR codes, but they write their name on the back.
I love it. That's a great idea.
And it goes directly to our Augusta app.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. So what do you all want to keep trying to improve on related to recruiting? And what do you think that we as a group need to improve on in the industry?
Ooh.
Hmm. Who wants to go first?
I'll
go.
Okay.
So what I want to keep improving is, we're trying to improve is that just being in business for as long as I have, I think it's something that will make a difference to potential candidates, and it has. I think they like knowing that an agency like mine is supportive and professional and has a good reputation in the community. So
Hmm.
that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think we have a responsibility in our industry to start helping our caregiver environment to be a profession. I really think that it's going to bring more value to the individual caregiver themselves. And I think drawing more attention to the whole industry. I know in New Jersey, they're going through 76 hours worth of training, and it's really hard to find the caregivers. But if we can tie that to a profession that makes them feel good and empowers them to encourage them to want to do that, and we can collectively come together to do that. I really think that putting checks and balances are going to even further increase our opportunity to be able to serve our clients well and encourage, Geneva, like you said, you're going out and you're looking for people who don't know they're a caregiver. We're going to give them an opportunity maybe to have another career that they didn't know they could have. A part-time mom, right? Or a young student leaving school, or like Jen, right? You came from caregiving and look at this amazing career that it turned into. I think it's an opportunity for us to maybe standardize and also provide a career path for a lot of people that, caregiving is just a job and it's such a hard job. It's a passion. And a lot of our caregivers go home and they take care of a family or they're taking care of other loved ones and they're struggling. And I think if we can create a career path out of that, I think it would be really important for our industry.
Yeah, when I was thinking about this question, I went down the same path as you did. Here we are, all part of the same industry. And if we work together to elevate the caregiving role by making sure, the pay is in line, but there's other parts of that, like adding professional training and the support that we need to be giving our caregivers and just making it more of a respected and dignified role. I mean,
absolutely.
It already is. Yep. There's so much feel good and they're doing so good. But making that known, putting it out there and just elevating the role of being a caregiver.
Yeah, I mean, that just to piggyback, definitely to really highlight on opportunities for more professional development and continuing education. I think that it needs to be addressed as a respectable profession. And I think it goes unnoticed for our care professionals.
Yeah.
Mark, did you have anything to add?
No, I absolutely wholeheartedly agree, across the board. And I'll take it to a next step. I look at our caregivers and, for quite a long time, I've been a big proponent of the learn more, earn more, philosophy and really, really helping to empower these amazing people, because we all know, we all can name caregivers off by name who are honestly angels walking on earth, right? But for us as an industry to be able to personify what we do and to help maybe new entry people to understand that, you could have this amazing career in healthcare, and the sky's the limit. We can give you a great foundation, but let us, we have to roll up our sleeves and start somewhere. And so, I would agree with all the other panelists that, that is critically important to us as an industry. It's so empowering and appreciated, I think, from the caregivers who are involved with it. But what I've found is that it's not as easy to engage them. And I mean, I've got caregivers that have been with me 20 plus years, but helping somebody take the initiative is not always easy. And so if we can do more things collaboratively in the industry to welcome these people to take the initiative, and we will jump right in there with them and handhold them, help them with in-person trainings and online trainings and mixed sessions or what have you. But I think that that's the necessary next step, is that we've just got to empower more people with upward mobility in our healthcare industry.
And can I add one more thing that I was thinking about? I'm a big proponent on providing better mental health and overall health and wellness resources for our care professionals. That is so important. And so many people are struggling with that. And I think that the industry really, really should do more to improve that experience, to help with the care professionals with that.
I agree with Jodi 100%. Our caregivers' clients are passing away, and not only are they struggling with the mental health on that side, on their own, but now they're going to a profession where their clients are passing away, and they have a deep connection with them, and providing that support to our caregivers is, and they do work for multiple companies, right?
Sure.
And they may come to work for us, and then they may go to work for you on another shift or pick something else up, and there's burnout underneath. And what is it that we need to do to support them? In what capacity to be able to support them so that they're not getting burnt out and they are having that support that they need, because not only at work, but also in their life.
Sure.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. I mean, we all have, personal, issues and problems, but you have our care professional that has dysfunction in their families.
Right.
And then they're going and having a heavy load with all these issues, physical, mental, with all of our clients. So it's prevalent. It's more prevalent than we think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really resonates with me personally. With my experience as a caregiver, I will I don't think until the day that I die, I'll forget my first client who passed away. It's gonna stay with me for my whole life. And I mean, I didn't even know her for that long, maybe 8 months or something like that. But it was just when you're in it every day with them, it makes the challenges are all of the challenges of dealing with that level of emotional responsibility at work. It's just compounded by the fact that people are people, and we already have lives that are challenging in their own ways. I think addressing mental health for caregivers, I mean just from in my humble opinion, makes a lot of sense. I think for folks who have done the work. They've seen that personally. So yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
we're very lucky. Our founder, John Siegel, is a psychotherapist. So we've got an open door policy in our office that
Yeah.
we're either going right out to them or they're coming in. But I will say we don't always get every single one of them, right? Because they've been doing it for so long and they just carry it around with them, and sometimes you don't know. So we have to dig in and get one-on-one with them to do a check-in.
Yeah.
So our franchise we do have a dedicated mental health hotline, which I think has been wonderful, but I still don't think it's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, giving them pocket tools to be able to deal with how are they feeling, and just to prompt the question, right? Do a check-in, and how am I really doing?
Definitely. Yeah, and I think it was all
Because if
really.
if they're not doing well, how are they going to be well to provide care to our fragile seniors?
Absolutely.
Right. And they are carrying that to the next client as well, right? Or they're going to go in and take that same thing and they're going to carry that into, well, this is how my other client behaved, and it's entirely different.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was also a really good point that you all made at the beginning about the professionalization of the industry, because I think these things are all very tied to it. Like, I think a lot of the industries that we're competing with are already providing, and I mean, clearly, you all are providing some level of like mental health support and a lot of training and orientation and continuing education and things like that. And then it's also in comparison to like what I think this type of worker is expecting that they've seen in other industries also. So yeah, it's like being able to lift up what they're doing in a way that is seen as professional and also meeting their expectations at the same time. It's like it's a very tricky balance, but also it's all kind of needed at the same time. So
yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm gonna move on to retention. So I mean, I suppose we could say it's all very related, right? So I know in
Absolutely.
these questions here, I went with a recruiting section, a retention section, mostly for our focus. But I think we can all acknowledge that there's a connection here. But just for the sake of focus, what were some of the top recruiting related challenges that you've had in the last year or so, and anything you learned? Mark, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I think that one of the things that I've noticed, particularly in the past couple years on the retention side, is it goes back again to the platform that most caregivers are working with now. And I think that they let's say we do an interview, we have a super positive interview and we get that caregiver going quickly. Well, we have to recognize that that caregiver has probably had a similar experience within the past 60 or 90 days somewhere else. And if it isn't a super good landing for them, they know they're being approached. They know that they can go look on their phone and see numerous texts or emails in their inbox of other opportunities. So if we are not really connecting with them in meaningful ways within that, the first 60, 90 days, my experience is saying that those people are just going to jump ship really quickly. And so you can go through all the time and the effort to orient them, to train them, even to help them, get their accreditation, their certificates and what have you. But if things aren't perfect, based on them knowing that they've got, infinite other opportunities, there are a lot of people that just pull the plug and jump the ship, and all of a sudden they're gone. And you're like, well, okay, where did we miss the boat on that? Where did we not handhold them enough, or what could we have done differently to help them to retain them? I mean, let's use the word.
Mhm.
So that's what we're finding is that, you know, you can really seem like you've got just a really great start, and but you really need to foster that, because it is a relationship.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And,
Making- Oh, go ahead.
yeah, so, okay, so, I mean, what I was thinking is that, you know, there's a lack of stability for them. A lot of times they come in and they're like, yeah, I went 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I'm like, great, but we don't have that. And so I think by not being able to provide necessarily what they're looking for at the time, oh, you don't have 9 to 5, or you don't have overnights. It's we find it very easy for them just to, you know, move on to another agency.
Mhm.
So there is a lot of a lack of stability with that.
Mm. Mhm. Geneva?
Yeah, totally agree. So the most critical time for us is that first month. You know, when you're still getting to know your caregiver and trying to make sure you found the right fit for them. And because if it's not, if it's not the right fit schedule-wise, location-wise, care-wise, they will go take another opportunity instead of bringing it up to us and, you know, helping work through that. So we've really learned to put more attention on seeking out their engagement and fostering the relationship with them so that they're comfortable coming to us and saying, you know, this client is not the best fit for me and here's why, and helping us, letting us help resolve that. And it's not the caregiver's fault. It's our fault for not, you know, seeking out the information and really trying to work with them to find that best fit so we don't lose them.
It's a total challenge. Yeah. And
that's
we're all
on
in the
top
same
of
boat.
the
Yeah.
other stuff that we can't do anything about. You know, they have a family member who now needs care, or their private client now needs more care, and so their availability has changed.
Mhm. I would say that we're incredibly personalized. So when that caregiver's walking in the door, we're looking for specific skill sets, but right, they come in looking for 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and we just don't have that right now. But we've been incredibly open with them and say, you know, if you have to take that other job right now, you know, hopefully we made a good enough connection with them and built a bond that we're going to call you as soon as we have that right fit for you. So, because for us, it is, you know, as everyone, it's about the right fit and having the right skill sets. And, you know, Geneva, like you said, something comes up in their life, or they did have a private on the side and all of a sudden they need more care. And poof, hey, I can't, what can we do to make it attractive for them to say, why don't you find, you know, one of your friends, since you're doing privates, why don't you find one of your friends to cover that, because our client really needs you. So getting crafty with the attractiveness to keep reeling them back in every time they want to skip is gets incredibly harder all the time, because like Mark said, there are so many other opportunities out there. And they do just have it on their phone, or they've got their own network and, hey, can you help me out here? It's just constantly feeding in their network, and there's more opportunity for them out there. So we have to be very attractive in here to continue providing that support for them so they want to come work with us.
Yeah, definitely. I think those are all great points. It makes me, yeah, I mean, I guess I just keep thinking about like kind of the um what came to mind when you were just talking about that was that it's on the one hand, I just keep thinking about this idea of like their expectations of us and our expectations of them, and the balance between the two. I feel like that's the theme
Yeah.
of what you all just
Yeah, there's a
described.
dichotomy, and
Yeah.
their life is always ever changing, and ours is not
Yeah.
in a certain way.
Yeah, it's like, I think, Mark, you kind of touched on it being like that first landing period and their expectations and your expectations, and with their schedule, you all kind of touched on that.
Just
And
falling into
yeah.
good rhythms, and it
Yeah.
takes time. It's
Yeah.
a rare instance where, you know, where you're, let's say you've got a couple of different new caregivers or new applicants that you're really working with, and you've got your eye on them. What happens with us when we come across amazing people like that, particularly if they've got full-time availability, boom, our directors are going out and they're touching base with people in their networks and saying, you know what, hey, I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks. How are things going? I will tell you what, I have a phenomenal full-time caregiver ready to go. If you know of a client or a family that could really benefit from that sort of thing. And so when we are getting phenomenal new caregivers, that's sort of our approach. It gives our client-facing management team, it puts lights the fire under them, and you know, typically with a few phone calls or reaching out to some of our community partners, it's pretty easy, you know, to get those people busy. But still, it's a challenge to find that right kind of case that that suits what the caregiver's looking for. Yeah.
It's a cool approach.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I think we had a couple other questions here, but I'm gonna start to try and kind of wrap this up. So maybe just one more question, and then I think I saw a couple people chat in. So I'll check that out in a second. But lots of retention related challenges. So I'd love to hear about anything that was successful and why you think that worked related to retention. Jodi.
Okay, so this year we have really worked hard. My team has really worked hard in implementing regular quarterly caregiver meetings. And that really has helped our agency with having better communication. It gives us really time to review like policies and anything new that's happening. So that is one thing that has worked well. It also gives us the opportunity to hear our caregivers' voices, their concerns. You know, we give them an opportunity to, you know, give us suggestions. What are we doing good? What aren't we doing good? So it's a nice time to hear from them, and then for them to actually meet other care professionals. So that's one thing that has worked really well for us this year.
That's great. I love that. Yeah, it's so hard to connect with other caregivers when you're out in clients' homes. So yeah, I
they
think
feel alone. A lot of times they feel alone, so they really do look forward to, you know, some of these meetings that we have.
Yeah.
Jodi, are you able to do that in-house, or are you doing it over Zoom?
No, we do that in our office.
Great.
And we have a full day. So how we've scheduled it is we'll break it up in 2-hour increments. So it kind of gives an opportunity for the caregivers to call in and say, I want the 9 o'clock slot. So we'll do like a 9 to 11 and then so forth and so on. I think the last session is at 6 o'clock at night, which is our most visited, attended session. But that really has been working out really nicely. And we bring in some food and,
Sure.
you know, little things. And it's been really nice.
Great.
We've created community. Our in-house team in the office has created multiple channels of community and personalized touches with each of the caregivers. We've used that through social media, through technology, and also with check-ins. We use a multitude of ways to create community. As we continue scaling our company, those are challenges as we each try to grow, to continue that personalization. And we work really, really hard at trying to maintain that personalization. And our team has done a masterful job. Every single one of them has a different kind of relationship with the caregivers. Our founders talking to them, our administrator might be talking to them because they have payroll issues or, other issues, but, and we're doing newsletters and maintaining social feeds and using technology. And we're just as many touches as we can to create community, and make them proud to be part of our company has really changed how the caregivers are responding.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I think
sounds
that
like we're all kind of on the same path. We also are really focusing on getting to know our caregivers better and responding to that feedback that they give us. For example, during the pandemic, we rolled out a teledoc benefit and just, let it kind of run itself. Well, we realized that nobody's using it anymore. And so why are we paying for this? So we are ending the teledoc program and instead, implementing a caregiver incentive, kind of technology-based points program. So just kind of being flexible to what their needs are. Another thing we ran up against was after hours support, like in the middle of the night, they would get our answering service who would pass a message on to whoever was on call for the night off of me. And instead of, we weren't very responsive. We would filter out, well, I don't need to call them until tomorrow morning or something. So now we use a system that the phone is answered live by a person who can try and help them work through their issue. And we've had great feedback on that.
awesome. I think all like amazing ideas here. I mean, I think the tie that binds between all of you sounds like community and making sure that the caregivers really feel like they're a part of a team. Because I think it all connects back, as Jodi, what you were saying about mental health and burnout in this industry. I think feeling like you actually have people that are supporting you and know what you're going through and are making that big effort to reach out to you sounds like a really big, important approach to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark, did you have anything else to add on that?
No, I completely agree. It is all about the people. And when my mom and I started our company, our little company 30 years ago, I can remember the time when we were sitting around the table and talking about fundamental objectives and things and core philosophies, and it came down to happy employees will result in happy clients. That it was that simple. And so from day one, we have really gone out of our way to have a personal connection, and that's kind of a foundation of our organization. So I mean, if we know that somebody's going through some tough times or what have you, we're going to get out there and bring them some flowers or try and get them some extra time off or celebrate them and shine the light, because as much as we are in the people business, that doesn't always happen. And I can't tell you how many times that we've gone out to do a caregiver of the month celebration, and we present them with a a framed certificate about how professional they are and how much we appreciate them. And the tears just start flying because they've never really received recognition like that. And so I think that there's great opportunity for our industry as a whole to wrap our head around, you know, the people aspect of it, because without them, we're nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so important. I mean, we always tell our care professionals that we are here for them. You know, we have an open door policy. And if there's anything that you ever want to talk about, you know, we're here for you. And I think they appreciate that, as long as they know that the offer's there.
Right.
And that's that they value. I think they will value that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, we are doing good things with great people and making them feel important and valued. And we're running businesses here, right? We have to make money, but if our people feel empowered and valued and loved and cared about, and know that we value what their contribution is and that we genuinely care about their humanity, we're gonna do lots of wonderful things for the entire industry.
Yeah, I think it's part and parcel to professionalizing the industry. It's
Yeah.
like the other end of the coin, really.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, folks, any last thoughts?
No, thank you so much for
Okay.
having us,
No.
Jodi, Geneva, Mark. It was a pleasure to meet you guys. I think we're really in like-mindedness here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is really wonderful, Jen. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
An
Thank
honor
you
to be
so much.
included.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have you all here. Geneva, Kasondra, Jodi, Mark, you are amazing. And thank you so much for the kind words about Augusta. And thank you for your experience that you're sharing with us. I'm going to go ahead and say we're wrapping up the panel part of the discussion. And if anybody wants to stick around for 5 minutes, I'll tell you a little bit more about Augusta and what we're doing over here. So, but thank you so much, all of you. You are awesome.
Very welcome, Jen. Thank you
you.
for
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good one.
take care.
Now, for anybody who wants to stay here for 5 minutes, I'll tell you a little bit about what we actually do. Basically, the high level is that we identify and motivate the right applicants for your agency. Ultimately, our goals are helping you connect with the right people, making it so that way you have the opportunity to match more clients because you're connecting with the right people at the top of your funnel, and giving you actionable information about what you can do to manage the bottlenecks in your hiring process. So the way we basically uncovered our solution to this problem is by looking at what caregivers experience today, which is probably something that you heard in the panel, that's a big aspect of what a lot of operators are doing today. Is we already know the vast majority of our HR teams and recruiters out there, they would tell you, I just have so many caregivers who don't seem serious about the job. They ghost. They don't pick up the phone after they apply. There's a lot of things going on in their lives. At the same time, though, they are being enabled by job boards and other ways that they're being bombarded with messages about jobs to enable them to keep applying. They just keep applying over and over and over again. There's a stat out there that says caregivers are applying to 16 jobs at one time right now. And you can see it in real life here. This is an actual screenshot of our company inbox after we applied to one job on a major job board. 20 emails in a row saying, hey, you can apply to all these jobs. For better or for worse, the same thing is happening via text message out there today too. So it's literally, it all looks like spam at the top of the funnel to an applicant. That's basically their experience. They're not really able to differentiate what's going on. And then they're spamming you back with their application, basically. So you get a ton of applicants who just sheerly, they never read the job description and didn't know what they were applying for. So I'm going to show you real quick an example of, oh my goodness. get my right screen up here for a second. Pause one moment, get the right thing open. Okay. All right. So caregivers, basically our software, they believe it's their job application. What's really unique about this is that as they fill it out, it becomes personalized to them with the information that they need to know about the job that's going to make it so determine for them whether or not they should go to an interview with you. And then on the management side of things, within 60 seconds, we are able to collect a massive data set on every applicant and use that with some pretty advanced algorithms to identify and grade your applicants appropriately based on your agency's criteria, and then get those applicants to schedule their own appointment. So this is an example of what it looks like here. So a caregiver sees your job ad, whether it's on Indeed or on your website careers page. I'll show you an example of what the Augusta careers page looks like. So on your careers page, you would have an embed where the caregiver is able to see with pictures instead of with words why this job could be a good fit for them. You can draw a little map, make it super, super easy for the caregiver to understand how this is actually going to be relevant to them, their community, their location, how all of that integrates with what their needs are. So as they apply here, this is what their experience is. Let's say they put in a zip code that happens to be close to a physical office location of yours. They would see a little message that pops up telling them exactly how close or they are from that physical office. We're only going to tell them good information. We're not going to dissuade them from, we're not going to show them that they're 2 hours away, for instance, but they would see a message when they're nice and close. And then on the management end of things, you are able to see those grades really quickly and easily and identify the bottlenecks in your process, using all of this information to start making matches as soon as possible. Typically, we'd say most common is you are often hiring people and then making a match, and we're helping you hire people and start making those matches right away. So this is an example of one of our customers' dashboards. You can see the grading here. So we got your green candidates, your yellow candidates, and perhaps most importantly, the insights about the process. So up at the top of the screen here, you can see this agency's qualification rate. So we're able to give the agency operator actionable information about what they could be doing in terms of qualifying applicants to identify more of the right people. So in some cases, that may mean there's something about a business decision that you want to change. In some cases, it may mean that there's an advertising change you want to make. But either way, it's the concrete data that literally is going to give you the information to go make actions about it. Probably a really simple example here is this agency. One of the reasons that their applicants are disqualified, and there's nothing wrong with this, it's just a data point. But one of the reasons is that their caregivers are looking for companionship care as the role. So that this agency has very few companion care cases and thus doesn't want to hire a lot of people who are looking for companion care. But there's a large portion of their applicants each month that want that. So that's one of those business questions that comes up of, okay, how do we bring in those people, right? Like, is there a training program that we want to design specific to people who are brand new to this industry and know very little, because those are probably the folks who want companion care most likely. But having that data and saying, you know what, if my hiring funnel is like this, and I know that I can capture 31 more applicants every single month who want companion care and get 10 of those people through my new caregiver training program, that could make a really big difference in my business. So we're trying to give you that actionable information. The other big data point that is really important to all home care agencies hiring process is something that we hit on a couple times in the discussion, is the time and speed throughout your hiring process. So through our data, we've had about 250,000 applicants through our software. And there is a 200% higher probability that you're going to hire somebody that you have interviewed in less than 4 days. So it is a massive drop off after 4 days. So in your dashboard at all times, you're seeing that information of how fast your team is interviewing. And it'll also give you the information you need about what you can do to change that. If it is taking a long time, there's always things that you might be able to change. But the important point is making sure you know where your bottleneck is in the process, so that way you can then take an action on it. So that's the high level overview of Augusta. I'm going to pause there for today and say thank you again for joining, and I hope that this was helpful to you. I'm just going to throw my contact information back up on the screen here, so that way if you want to get back in touch with me, you absolutely can. You can go check out augusta.care and book a demo from there, or shoot me an email or give me a call. I love talking with everybody. And like I said before, the recording will be up in a couple days on our website, and definitely check it out, and I'd love to hear from you. So thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Hi, Jen.
Bye.